Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal and
Dr. Brandon Nielsen.
back. Okay, we had a collaboration meeting this morning and we started talking about all kinds of great things. And as usual, every time we do that, we always say, "Oh my gosh, this information is so good, let's share it." So, besides all of the things we've been collaborating on, we wanted to share some really amazing information about preparing your body and your immune system for cold and flu season, which is coming up. We're at the very middle of September, and we have some really cool things happening.
Oh, that.
A lot.
Yes.
We have so much
So the
going on.
reason,
We're not sure where to start.
well, I mean, can I just mention
Yes.
okay, so here's the thing is you definitely want to watch any time that we're together because we're working on a project. And I'll just tell you that it's a project and it's so amazing. And you
We've been working on
definitely,
it a long time,
yeah, we
actually.
have.
In fact, I'm thinking we should maybe make a commitment in the next week or two that we actually film a little video to share what our project is so you can kind of be on the lookout for it.
All right,
So
let's do
in a
that.
couple weeks, we're going to drop a little, just a
So,
tiny
so
video.
you'll want to keep watching. So we're just giving you a little bit of a hint, but you're going to see some phenomenal things that have never been seen before at Barlow Herbal, some of the things that I'm going to be sharing. But as we were collaborating this morning, Jane asked me, she said, well, what do you do for acute infection? And I said, well, I use the trifecta. And she's like, well, what is that? So whenever people come in with an acute infection, and the thing is you guys, we're going into cold and flu season as the world calls it. But hey, I remember in July, I had 3 cases of the flu in 1 week and or more. I mean, just like all the back to back to back. I was like, what's going on? And so really, this is anytime. So right now, you need to always be at your top game as far as your immune system because the immune system will, if it's not there, it's going to wipe you out. You get all sorts of other diseases. So what I use, my trifecta, I will use a homeopathic. All right. So depending, and if you ever err, if you don't know if it's a bacteria or a viral, just so a little tip really quickly is viral will generally have more symptoms. So if you ever err, always use something for a virus, like in a homeopathic. So homeopathic, I'll always use a homeopathic, and then I'll use almost always an herb. And of course, I love the herbal immunity boost. So I'm going to give you an example of a patient, a woman. She got very sick, pneumonia, those type of things. She said, I've got to go on something this year. So what did I put her on? Just a booster. So I put her on Immunity Boost, right? The Barlow
Hmm.
Herbal Immunity Boost. And then I put her on an immunoglobulin. And then I didn't do the trifecta because that was for more acute. However, for her, because she had been sick so many times, I even did that for chronic, where I used the trifecta, homeopathic, immunoglobulin, or a probiotic. You need to be on a probiotic. Why? Because you've got to maintain that healthy bacteria, which also helps fight against and your white blood cells against the viral infection. So that's my trifecta. Again, homeopathic, an herbal, especially like the Lomatium dissectum. And if you're going to err, you always err on the side of more powerful like Lomatium dissectum or Immunity Boost. And then I love to use a probiotic or immunoglobulin or something that's going to raise your level of fighters against disease. And I call them fighters so that you understand. So I don't talk, too much. So I don't go into
Yeah.
the
So
T cells, B
one of the
cells.
things we were talking about too when we talked about probiotics is like, and your immune system before we started recording was you can't take all this really good stuff and then eat a whole bunch of sugar.
Oh,
And because to me it's like people take supplements and there's very small amounts of time when I find that I'm guilty of this too, when I'm in a social situation
mhm.
where I might indulge in a little bit of sweets, but if you really understand the reason why cold and flu season is called that, there's a whole bunch of reasons, but one of the big ones is that you're throwing so much sugar at yourself with the food that people, I mean, so
During
what's your take on, I mean,
Well, what's
tell people
interesting,
about
so
that.
so think about this concept. Cold and flu season is the exact season when most of the holidays are that you eat the worst,
Right.
unfortunately. But and so it's we talk about this. I feel like every year I talk about this to my patients as well, my audience. But you cannot use a supplement to replace healthy nutrition.
Oh, no
you
way.
know and that's where I feel sometimes I almost like hold back nutrition or sorry supplements to people or a homeopathic or an herbal remedy. It's kind of like I'm going to give you this, but are you going to do your part? And so, yeah, so if you go and take a probiotic, what good is it going to do if you're not balancing that with healthy nutrition? Okay.
That's your first supplementation. And you guys have heard me talk about that before, is your diet, your nutrition has to be dialed in.
Yeah. So that's kind of my trifecta on acute disease. Chronic. You asked me about chronic. Similar, but generally with chronic, what I'll do is I'll usually add in, again, sometimes I won't do the trifecta. And just so you know, when it's really acute, I mean, I'm talking like serious stuff. I don't just go trifecta. Sometimes I'll do, it doesn't matter, 6, 7. I will white that thing out. Here's the other interesting thing where we were discussing is somebody will have a chronic infection and they will want to, they'll want to take something, right? But again, what happens is if you start taking, one thing I like to do is when you're taking something, I like to switch it up or dose differently. And I don't know if if you recommend that at all, but sometimes when people have chronic infections, I'll ramp things up, I'll kind of taper off. I'll ramp things up again, kind of taper off. With probiotic therapy, I switch. A lot of people, they'll come to me and they'll say, oh, I got this probiotic. And I'm kind of like, for what? Well, you said I needed to take a probiotic. I would kind of like, well, that's not going to affect the area that we need. Or you took an antibiotic, we need to take like Saccharomyces boulardii. Or you have diarrhea, you need to take a very specific strain. And you can look on the back of a probiotic and you can look at the strain. Most oftentimes when you go to a health food store, you'll get a probiotic. It won't tell you the strain. It'll just say Lactobacillus acidophilus or whatever, but they won't tell you the strain because what is it for? It's just,
Yeah. Well, so that's such good information, but to me, I would be, if I was listening to this, I would be like, well, how do I know what strain I need?
Oh,
Do you have something like on
we
your
we
site
do.
where people can like go and learn about this? I mean, honestly, because
Yeah,
I don't
honestly,
have
they
something
could.
like that.
Okay, here's an example. So we have, I had a mom come to me and she said, hey, I have my daughter. She's going to be serving a mission. She's going on a mission down and she's going to be in Guatemala. And I
Okay.
said, okay. So she said, what do you recommend so that my daughter does not get sick? Because oftentimes they'll go to a new country and she's going to get sick, right? So I said, here's some of the things I recommend. You need to either have like some type of a clay or a diatomaceous earth, something that's going to absorb parasites or bacteria or junk, but you've got to build and re-inoculate. So what I did is I gave her our probiotics 30B. It's a 30 billion count, and it's so nice because you don't have to refrigerate it. A lot of probiotics you do. So these are in blister packs. So we sent it down to her in Guatemala. It made it through. She was the only girl in her whole group. I can't remember, I'm going to say 30 people that didn't get sick. The diarrhea is because that's all she was doing. She was taking a little bit of the diatomaceous or bentonite. I think it was diatomaceous earth. Obviously, it has to be edible, you guys. And then she was taking our probiotic 1 a day. That's it. And she was the only one who didn't get sick.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So I recommend for general, I recommend our 30B. It's a I can't remember the HNO19 strain. It's a very specific strain. It's general for general health.
There's going to be a link below this video for where people can
Okay, that's fine.
do a little bit of research and also, because this is your probiotic.
It is. This is our probiotic. This is a general probiotic. So that's what I'd recommend if you're just trying to maintain health. They did another study, and I'm excited about this. We're bringing out a children's probiotic, and they actually showed a study in Parenting, I believe it's Parenting Magazine. I have to look again, go back and see which one did it. But the probiotic strain that we're using for children, my kids take it every day, that it decreased the amount of sick time in children. Just that one thing alone.
Yeah, well, probiotics are really important. It's something I've been taking for a long time. I didn't either. But I think
I should have brought some stuff and actually educated them. You know what? Let's follow up.
Okay.
We'll follow up, and I'll teach you more about how to read a label on probiotics.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm not saying you have to get it from us. It doesn't matter.
But you have to get a good brand.
You do. You guys, I'll just tell you this about supplements. You pay, you're going to get what you pay for. And
every time.
You know what? We should teach how to read labels. I would love
supplement
to even
labels.
because
everyone learns how to read labels, food labels.
Yeah, sorry, supplement labels.
Supplement
going to Costco the other day, I was in Costco and I thought, and I turned the label and kind of like, oh, you guys think you're getting good stuff? I need to teach you. I need to educate. You know what? Let's educate people. Let me show you something. Actually, let me show you something. Let me just show you something. You know what? I know I just grabbed this. I'm going to teach you something even about that Jane won't even tell you about her tinctures. Really. Let's
Okay.
write this down. I want to teach you guys something that you don't know about Jane's tinctures and why they are such superior products. Again, reading a label and understanding. Let's talk about that next time. I think that'd be a good
Oh,
video.
okay. I was ready to hear it right now. But
You
that's
want me to
okay. You know
tell
what?
you?
No, no, let's
Because
do
I
that.
don't have a comparison,
We're
and I
already at
actually want them to show her. Yeah.
we're already at 10 minutes and I want you guys just to get some good information. Besides, so this is kind of the big takeaway. While you were talking about chronic and acute infections, my first thought was a chronic infection is something that's chronic and you keep all the time because I think we throw those words around so
Oh,
easily.
thank you.
No, it's
Yes.
okay. But chronic just means it's chronically happening to you, like
Over and
monthly,
over.
over
You
and over
can't.
and
Yep.
over. An acute infection, and this might make sense to you, is something that's like an infection that you need to go after because it's an infection that is just a serious issue and it's acute. It's a problem.
It is. And I'll tell you, you have a golden 24-hour window. And
Right,
if you don't slap it in the face,
right.
it will take a hold of you on the serious stuff. So sometimes my trifecta turns into a double trifecta.
Yeah, so there's gonna be some links below here because you do have a really good probiotic, and like you said, you pay for what you get. And I personally, I would never buy supplements at Costco. And I love Costco. And I don't mean to diss on them. My son works for them,
Yeah, we
actually.
love them. We
We
love them.
love Costco. But the thing is, you really need to be careful that you're not wasting your money and you're not taking things that are not
For
going to
what?
benefit you. You
Yeah,
know,
for
it
what?
might make you feel like you're doing something proactive, but you might as well be getting all of the benefits out of your supplementation. So we're going to do a little video next week about that. But
Okay.
yeah, I hope you got something out of this, but be looking. We have a cool, crazy project we are getting ready to announce to you uh, probably before the end of the year. And we're about in the middle of September while we're filming this video. So
Sounds
thanks for
good.
letting me
Thanks so
throw
much.
the video on you today.
It's fine.
And we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.
Ciao.